Hello and welcome along to AVFTS Wrexham. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whenever you're watching this video. If you could do so, please make sure to subscribe to the channel for all the latest Wrexham news. Get your notification bell turned on, hit that like button, and of course, get in the comment section. Wrexham right now, 1 win in 5 attempts in the Championship, and today was a pretty poor turnout, a pretty poor showing. And let's be honest, some really glaringly obvious problems are coming from this Wrexham side right now. We're going to touch on all of those in detail and then allow you to cast your opinion as well. But there's a lot of noise coming out of today's game, and I want to address this really quickly before I go into today's match itself. The noise is that Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack, accordingly to some reports, held talks over Phil Parkinson's future before a ball was kicked today. I think that was a load of rubbish. I don't think that would have happened today, especially being an international break where Wrexham had a long layoff. But they were there. Ryan Reynolds, of course, was there at the game today to see how his 30 million squad that he had assembled looked. And that is the big thing. Wrexham have dropped a lot of money this summer. And as much as we love Parky, as much as he's owed probably a little bit of time in the bank in some way, he's also under so much scrutiny and pressure because of that massive outlay. And the rumours coming out of that, of course, with him and his future being speculated, was that a picture of Phil Jones was seen today in the owner's box with Ryan Reynolds. And that got people thinking, is Phil Jones possibly linked to a managerial role at Wrexham? Phil Jones, of course, being the former Manchester United star, winning major trophies there. But it just seems too loose of a link. It's something that doesn't quite feel right, and maybe just a coincidence that he was there. I don't know. But regardless, there's been a lot of noise off the pitch before this game and now certainly after about Phil Parkinson's future. And I'm going to tell you now, in this video, I am going to mention some of the things that I think Parky is getting horribly wrong and some of the things that I think are a little bit out of his control as well. So let's talk on the game itself. QPR, credit to them, came to North Wales and they put on a very good tactical display, a very energetic display, and a very clinical display, taking their goals in the right manner, in the right way. And one thing that probably alerted me to how QPR sort of stood out was they had a lot of energy and pace. And we certainly saw that for some of the goals, in which the way in which their forward players in particular ran in behind, stretched that Wrexham defence and really exposed them. And this is a concern of mine. In Cleworth, Cody, and Doyle, and he could add Brunt in there as well. All of those defenders for Wrexham look a yard too slow. They don't look like they can cope with the physicality and the pace of the Championship. And if and when the fullbacks and the wing-backs are pushing high with McLean and Longman, where those three are exposed is really dangerous. And if you look at two of the goals today, the third one and the second one, it's just, again, defensive positioning, defensive sort of a compensation in terms of where they should be. Cleworth charging out for that first goal that I mentioned in absolute no man's land and being exposed there. And then Connor Cody getting absolutely gassed for the third goal. Just things like that really don't do Phil Parkinson any favours. And that is probably why sometimes you see Wrexham defending really deep in games. Sometimes it's why you see that back three sit really deep and soak up pressure because of that lack of pace. And that's the problem Wrexham are going to face this season. When they're chasing games, when they need to go find goals, when they push a bit higher at the pitch, Cleworth, Cody, Doyle, and whether Dom Hyman comes in as well and where he will go in that defence, their lack of pace is going to be exposed. And talking about it today, Arthur, of course, plays in goal with Danny Ward sidelined for 4 months. Arthur's done himself no favours today to fulfil confidence in himself and the team. A few really poor mistakes, especially that one where him and Connor Cody fumbled into each other and Connor Cody scored an own goal. That lack of understanding between Cody, Cleworth, Doyle and Arthur was very much there to be seen. And I felt that actually Arthur looked a shadow of himself and hasn't really instilled confidence going forward in what he can do as a goalkeeper. We've seen him in League One and League Two be magnificent, but being sort of casted out by Danny Ward early on, then coming in and having a bit of stinker in his first Championship start today, that's going to not do him any good. The other thing I'm going to touch on as well is the fact that if you look at today, the new signings, it's hard to bleed them all in. And this is probably something that maybe is out of Phil Parkinson's sort of remit, which is the fact that when you have so many new signings, it's so hard to make them gel. It's so hard to make it all work instantly. Wrexham, to get everyone to work, is going to take a few months. And that's scary to say a few months. And Wrexham may not have a few months to get it all to click. But I'm sure that when they all click, it will click. And it will be an incredible Wrexham side. But you can see today that when you look across that starting lineup, you've got Doyle, O'Brien, Hardy, and Kiefer Moore, sort of those newer signings. And you've still got the likes of, as I said, Sheaf was on the bench today, and he's a player who came in on deadline day. And still lots of faces that need to be bled into this side. It's just a matter of time, how and when. And one of the new signings that really has disappointed me, and one that I am really worried about, is Hardy. Once again, like on the opening game against Southampton, Hardy has missed a crucial chance, a crucial opportunity, in which putting the back of the ball in the back of the net is his job. That chance he had where he put it wide of that right-hand post with his left foot has to score. Very similar to the Southampton game, where he could have gone and made it 2-0, and he put it wide. Hardy in front of goal has not filled me with hope or confidence, and missing these big chances at this level, you get punished for. Wrexham had a chance there, a key moment from Hardy, to bring the scoreline back, and he didn't. And that for me is a worry. With Nathan Broadhead, of course, on the bench as well, someone that needs to be bled in, we cannot simply rely on Kiefer Moore. And thankfully, Kiefer Moore is stepping up to the mark right now. I think that's 5 goals in 6 games, something crazy like that. This guy is absolutely shutting up all the haters and doubters who said he was no good, not going to bring anything to this Wrexham side. Again, another great bullet header from an O'Brien corner, an assist for him again. The numbers are looking good for O'Brien and Moore, and that's probably a positive that I can take out of Wrexham today, is that O'Brien and Moore are still delivering as those new signings. But Kiefer Moore cannot carry this Wrexham side. And this is why, if he does his job now, and the other players who are going to come and hit form, as I said, your Broadheads, your Sheafs, the fact that you've got Isa Kabore coming in as well, players who are going to add some more attacking impetus to Wrexham. If they start hitting some form, then Kiefer Moore won't be so heavily relied on. But right now, if Kiefer Moore doesn't score, I don't know when Wrexham or who will score for Wrexham. And that is a little bit of a concern. But should we be majorly concerned about losing 3-1 to QPR at home? No. But what we should be concerned about is the longer these type of results and performances go on, the bigger cloud that hangs over Parky's head, especially with the owners coming into town and watching, especially with the outlay, and especially with the way the media is going to be looking for that new replacement. Is Parky on his last tether? I think it's getting tight, especially these home performances. The Stockeras is where Wrexham need to clean up. The Stockeras is where Wrexham need to win points and put points on the board. And right now, that win is still awaiting in the Championship at home. So we have to keep going. We have to keep moving. Games come thick and fast. The squad is there. Time to rotate, time to refresh, time to recoup. But I must say, that Wrexham defence is looking more and more fragile as minutes and the games go on. Something needs to change, and whether it's Dom Hyman, whether we play a little bit deeper again, whether we have, a little bit more trust in the defence with Arthur, I don't know, but something needs to fix up. Let's see what happens. People, thank you for watching. Get your comments in. If you agree with what I've said today, then please let me know. And I appreciate all your support as always. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here. Ta-da.